Hello there. Welcome back to Business Studies A-Level Zimsec. In this video, we want to look at the impact of employment regulations on businesses. So we are going to look at a positive impact of employment regulations on businesses, and also we are going to look at negative impact of employment regulations on businesses. So you're going to see that we have got various employment regulations that we have that are applied in within the context of the Zimbabwean economy. We have got health and safety law. We also have the gender equality. We also have the human resources policies. We have got the child labor laws. We have got also the discrimination laws. And also we have the part of issuing of employment contracts. So those are some of the employment regulations that we have applicable within the context of the Zimbabwean economy. So we are just going to look at three of them, and we'll try to analyze them in terms of looking at the positive impacts and also look at the negative impact. So we are going to start with the healthy and safety law as an employment regulation. So basically we are saying the first one, which is one, we are having the healthy and safety law. So we need to understand what actually does it entail before we look at the positive impacts and the negative impact. So the health and safety law, it provides for health and safety of people at work, and for the health and safety of also people in connection with the use of plant and machinery, obviously, so that they are not affected when they are operating at those equipment. So basically, so that's what we have in terms of the health and safety law. So what can we deduce in terms of positive impact? So we are going to start to look at the positive impacts of the health and safety law within the context of the operations of businesses. So we are going to say, so what the positive impacts, the first positive impact that we can try to reduce in terms of the health and safety law is that it reduces injuries. It also reduces accidents and deaths at work. So that becomes a positive within from the point of view of the workers themselves, or even the business or the company also. So because when there are less injuries, it means also uh, the operations of the businesses are not going to be affected. They won't be bottlenecking along their production processes. So obviously it becomes a benefit from the employer's point of view. So basically that's what we have. So we can just try to include that one is the first one. So we are saying the first that we have is reduces injuries. It also reduces accidents. So you see that this is the positive impact now. So on the negative, we are saying, so we have the negative impact. So on the negative impact, we are going to see that it's costly. It's also going to be costly for the business, and they are going to buy some clothing which are supposed to protect the workers. So for example, we're talking about safety shoes. We're talking about the helmets in the production processes. So it's something that goes with the cost. So it becomes costly from the business point of view. Remember, the business's main objective is to make profit, to maximize making more profit. So basically, when the cost increases, the profit margin is going to be narrowed, and they make a lesser profit. So basically, it's not a good thing from the employer's point of view. So we are saying costly is the first negative impact. Costly to buy. This is the first negative impact. Then I will try to use another negative impact is that the safety procedures are time consuming. Safety. And this usually affects the producing companies. And remember, the manufacturing companies, when they are mainly affected by delays along the process, because if there are delays in terms of trying to follow safety procedures, it's also going to affect the total output that is going to be produced in a significant way. So basically, that's a negative impact. So this is what we have in terms of the health and safety law. So the health and safety law. So you see that we have tried to explain in terms of what actually does the health and safety entail. As we said, it provides for health and safety for people at work. And also it goes on to provide health and safety for any people in connection with the use of the plant and machinery that are being used in the production processes. So uh, another example that we have is remuneration policy. Remuneration policy is an employment regulation. So we also have the second one being uh, remuneration policy. So on remuneration policies, we are seeing these are policies that sets out the general principles that a company uses when determining staff remuneration and also on determining salary structures. So basically, that's what we have in terms of remuneration policies. So in terms of the positive impact, we can also try to come up with those positive impacts that we can deduce from remuneration policies. So we are saying positive impact. We are saying the first positive impact that we can try to deduce is that usually there are minimum wages that are set in terms of wage controls, minimum wages. So we see that the minimum wage usually it is set above the equilibrium point. So obviously it will be a higher wage rate. So it will enable employees to afford a basic life. They will be able to afford the minimum requirements of the basics that are needed in a household. So basically, it becomes an advantage from the employee's point of view. So we are saying minimum wages enable it, so it becomes an advantage. Then we can now try to look at the negative effects of the remuneration policy. So you can say now negative impacts. So on negative impacts, we are seeing that since we are saying this is a minimum wage is usually set above the equivalent point, and we are saying obviously it will be a higher wage rate, which is going to be a negative impact from the employer's point of view because the cost of production is going to increase as we are seeing the labor costs going up. So obviously it's also going to lessen the profits that are going to be made. So we are saying it's a negative impact, it's a burden to firms going through high costs. It is a burden. It is a burden to the employer. Cost of production. So basically, that's what we have as a negative impact of remuneration policy. So it's becoming a negative impact from the point of view of the minimum wage that will be set, maybe to try to increase the wages of the employees. So this is what we have on the remuneration policies. We also have agenda issues as part of our employment regulation. So this is number 3. So we are saying number 3, we have gender issues. So obviously, when we are talking about gender issues, we are talking about human rights, and this implies that women, men, boys, and girls of all classes and races participate as equal. So everyone from both sides of the races, we are saying whether we are talking about whether male or female, from any race, any divide in terms of being a man, being a boy, being a girl, being a woman, should be treated equal and should participate equal. So that's gender issues. So in gender issues also, we are supposed to come also with some positive impacts and negative. So we start with positive. Positive impact, whereby we are seeing uh, This gives the employers the ability to employ both sexes. It gives the employers the ability to employ both sexes, which is employees from both sexes. So we can just say ability to employ either sex. So there won't be any regulation that will restrict the employer from employing any sex on a certain type of job. So that becomes an advantage from the employer's point of view, is there is flexibility in terms of employment. So basically that's what we have. Then we go to the second positive impact that we can deduce, whereby we can talk about the remuneration would be there will be fair remuneration, fair, and it will be equitable despite the gender. So you say remuneration will be equitable despite the gender. Despite the gender meaning despite being male or female. So this is what we have on the positive impacts. Then we try to look at the negative. The negative impact. So the first negative impact that we can deduce is that although we are saying they should be treated equally, we have got some jobs that require men, and then some jobs require only women for them to be perfect. So that becomes a disadvantage now, because some jobs are not going to be done perfectly well because of the gender that has been employed. So we can try to put that point down in saying some jobs require masculinity. And masculinity, or they require femininity. So by masculinity, what exactly do you mean? There, we see that masculinity, we are saying it is the manhood, or the manliness. So basically, we are saying it's a set of attributes, behaviors, or we're talking about roles associated with men and boys. That's masculinity. So obviously, when it's not femininity, it would be associated with women. So so we see that this issue of masculinity and femininity is usually influenced by cultural factors, and also it might be biological factors. So, but it's a relative issue, as we are saying, to determine to what extent masculinity is biologically or socially influenced is subject to debate. So we cannot actually have a correct answer in terms of that. So basically, that's what we have, and that's the only negative impact that we have within the context of this video. And we have got other regulations that we can also include on employment regulations that we can also include there. We can just say other regulations, whereby we are saying we have got the child labor laws. We also have the discrimination laws. So those are some of the other regulations that we can also include on part of that. So basically, we can as well try to assess them, and as it are trying to look at the positive impacts of child labor laws, and also look at the negative impacts of child labor laws. The same applies to discrimination laws. So this is what we guys are coding in this video, and thank you for listening. And please, let's not forget to subscribe and share to our channel. Let's not forget to share the link to our colleagues who are doing business studies A-level, Zimsec. And let's take note, more typical examination questions will be uploaded on this channel. So let's stay tuned. Let's get notified by subscribing and turning on the notification button so that we can get notified of new uploads. As for this video, I'm signing out. We'll meet again in the next video.